Welcome back to the social universe, where you learn the secrets of the social media through the social universe, and in many cases, the secrets of the universe itself. And one of the secrets in our current universe that's one of the strongest out there is how the Google algorithm works. And now that is truly the secret. Only Google really, really knows. But they do have a certain prophetic, the prophets come out and say, this is the way it kind of works. And then you have the guys who actually understand what they're saying. Sometimes, because it's not a perfect science, you have to read between the lines. Google will even misdirect. Sometimes they'll say, go to the left, and really what they mean is go to the right, because they're kind of protecting new information that's about to come out. So it is quite a fine science. So we actually have in our midst what we would refer to as a savant. And we discussed over the break, he's not the idiot side, he is the savant side, only the smart side, not an idiot savant, but a savant. And when it comes, there is a certain amount of gut that you have to go on, and you find out 6 months later that your gut is telling you that it's correct. So that person here is Art Enke, who is the director of SEO with Vertical Measures. And there's a couple of things that it's important to have somebody who's that smart on your side. And we also are joined by Mike Huber, who is going to talk a little bit about an offer that those of you who are either listening to the show or watching it on YouTube, that you can actually call in and take advantage of this particular offer. So, Mike, fire away.
Sure. Oftentimes we'll have clients come to us and they absolutely know they've been affected by an update. So they've seen their traffic drop off, and it's a clear indicator that something has happened. In other cases, we'll have people that come to us and they're really not sure. They have an idea that maybe something is going on, but they don't know exactly what it is. So one of the things that we do for a lot of new clients is we take a quick look at their website. And when I say me or we, I mean Art. Art is our SEO savant, so to speak. And he takes a quick dive and takes a look at the site, and in relation to Panda and Penguin, along with site structure and things like that, he can actually make a really quick determination and at least give us an idea of where to start looking. So I'll turn it over to Art, and Art, maybe you can just explain a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if I can live up to the word savant, but the title, very lofty title. But yeah, as Mike mentioned, we can do a quick analysis. One of the things that I focus on, and I don't profess to be like the smartest person at site analysis, but one thing I do is I quantify everything. So I don't make recommendations unless I can back it up with some sort of data. And what I do is I take a look at the site. I do a full site analysis, full site crawl. At Vertical Measures, what I like to do is uncover anything as it relates to these updates, which we've been talking about today. In terms of Panda and Penguin, there are still things that are often lurking in the shadows that you don't know. In fact, a lot of people use WordPress, for example, on their sites, and people love those tags. The tag pages are really convenient as you're building pages. Unfortunately, if you leave those tag pages intact, that can be a potential source of duplicate content, even category pages. So people with WordPress WordPress sites, which are great, really love the platform. You can leave all this unintentional duplicate content, and I like to phrase it unintentional, because I really rarely meet somebody who's really intentionally scraping content. It's usually a site that has some URL structure or CGI parameter, something in their URL that's creating all these duplicate content pages. I've even seen e-commerce sites that have that are indexing internal search results. So say every time somebody searches for a product, it's creating a duplicate page. So now you got two pages competing for the same keywords.
Right.
And that's the problem with duplicate content. That's why it's a problem, because you've got multiple pages with the same keywords, and Google doesn't know which one should be the prioritized. We call it the canonical page. Which page should be ranking for that term?
That makes sense.
And that's what I like to uncover is to help people come up with a very clear canonical strategy. What page should be ranking for that term, and how do we create a strategy to really emphasize the keyword on that page only?
See, I told you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if that didn't make sense to you, you need to go call this number, 602-314-3460, because you do have a savant at your fingertips that you can spend, 20 to 30 minutes or maybe even longer with analyzing your site. And again, as Mike says, if you feel that your traffic stopped anytime from a year to 2 years ago when you used to have roaring traffic, if you're feeling like you're not ranking on those keywords and your competitor is, but you're still maybe having the same SEO spend, you want to redirect over to a company that knows how to get you ranking above your competitors, and who can also do a good mix of search engine marketing, because they do in content now. The one amazing thing about social media is that it is a great place to create content. So for example, if you go to, I have to give a little plug for our YouTube channel, if you go to YouTube and type in Social Universe, you're going to find hundreds of videos of our content that is being generated all the time on the show. And so we're approaching almost 1 million views, so we'll have a little party when we hit our 1 million views. But the point is that that's great fresh content, and Google owns YouTube. So we're going to we're going to talk about the Hummingbird, and then we'll end our show talking about Hummingbird, also the integration of social media into SEO for a good SEM strategy. So that's for those of you who are wondering where we're going in this entire conversation, that's where we're going to be going. So you want to go and get that free analysis, find out if you're the type of person who got hit by the panda and penguin, or that in the last 30 days, if you're feeling like, oh, we're losing traction, that last 30 days could have to do with what's going on with Hummingbird, which again, all about content. And that's what I love about Vertical Measures, is they are content people. So now I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit about Hummingbird and what content has to do with it, and what the goal of Hummingbird is from the Google perspective.
So really, if you look at it, all of the updates are culminating with Hummingbird. What Google wants is really good content on the web. Mm-hmm. So the difference with Hummingbird is that it actually takes a semantic look at searches that people are doing. And I don't know if you're like me or my wife, I use her as a really good example. She has one of these in her hands at all times. Mm-hmm. And she's often asking questions to the search engine on her phone.
Yeah.
So people are speaking searches now more than ever before. And Google is actually using their knowledge graph. It has like 570 million terms that are kind of interconnected together. And really what that does is that when you ask a question or you do a search, they know contextually the meaning of what the search is. So if you think about it, in the past, the previous algorithm was more of a linear keyword, 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 find those on the page and show me a site that has those keywords, either one next to the other or contextually in the same place. But the way that the Hummingbird works now is that they can actually determine the meaning of your search more clearly than they ever could before. So now it's not about writing content that contains a keyword. Now it's about writing content that either solves somebody's problem, provides transparency in terms of maybe pricing or details about making a particular deal, or something that is really relevant. So with the new Hummingbird, they'll be able to do just that. So you'll be able to deliver, or they'll be able to deliver that content to the searcher, and hopefully that'll be the most relevant content that they've ever been able to produce in a keyword search. So to me, that's what the difference is. And then for internet marketers, it's all about writing great content, which is, if you've been doing that,
You're going to be fine.
You'd be in a really sweet spot right now.
But I hate to say it, as a business owner out there, you are so busy, it's hard. You're the best person equipped in most cases. If you're a small business, you're the best person equipped to write the content. You're so busy you want somebody else to write it for you. It may not be as relevant. So again, that's where you want to have it. When I say content, what I'm really saying is I'm the coach who really means when he says practice, 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 he really should be saying practice perfectly, practice perfectly, practice perfectly. In other words, make sure you write relevant content, relevant content, relevant content.
Well, over time we've actually been able to develop a really good process at Vertical Measures to do just that. Mm-hmm. And I have to plug one of my associates back at the office, David Gould. We have this process board where we track different things that are happening. And he wrote a quote up there the other day. And the quote is, the best time to start a content marketing program is 5 years ago. And then,
Good call.
and then right below that, he wrote, the second best time is today.
Right.
So really what we do is we work directly with clients, and a lot of times we hear from our clients, our business isn't really that interesting. We have no idea what to write about. But when we start to talk about who the subject matter experts are at their business,
Mhm.
those are those salespeople who hear the same questions over and over again.
Right.
It could be the people that actually go out and interface with a consumer. Maybe it's an HVAC person, or maybe it's an exterminator. They actually hear the questions over and over and over again. And that's one of the best places to start to write your content, because the people who hear those questions every single day over and over and over again, they know what's going on. And that's the best place to start, because if those people are asking, people who are potential customers are asking those same questions
Those are
as
potential
well.
keyword searches,
Yeah,
or you know,
exactly.
phrases. What I always say is think about the 15 frequently asked questions about your business and the 15 should ask questions about your business. So your salespeople also are going to know, if you interview them, what questions they get frustrated that people don't ask about their business, and they lose business to somebody else. They didn't ask the good questions, and they lost them to a competitor that they know is not going to meet the needs of that client. They know it in their gut. If they would have just asked the right questions, they would have them as a client with that particular, rather than losing them to a customer, they would have come with you. So those should ask questions you want to think about as well, and that's a little bit deeper content, creates rich content. And now bring you back in line if I'm wrong.
It really does, and to your point about practice, and perfect practice is the way to do it. Oftentimes we'll have people that they know what they want to write,
Mhm.
and we can help them with the titles and those kinds of things, but either they don't have the bandwidth to do it because they're limited resource-wise internally,
Mhm.
or they don't have the expertise to actually do that. So what we're able to do is take those ideas, flesh them out, write the content, and really provide for them the kind of quality content that they really need to rank in the search engines. So it serves a couple of purposes for them. So they get more and better content. It makes them look more reputable to their clients and their potential clients. And it really helps their business overall.
Absolutely. Looks like it's time for break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the different types of content, and because it isn't just written content, so there's going to be different types of content, which we're going to infuse a little bit of social media in there with the permission of our guests today. So when we come back, make sure you keep those pens and paper handy. This is Kurt Wilhelm, the host of the Social Universe here on Will Talk Radio, joined by our wonderful guests from Vertical Measures. Don't go away. We'll be right back after the break.